This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with the acclaimed performer, Soulman Black. But before we get to our interview, here's a sneak peek at his incredible song and music video for his original tune, Better Than You.
If you could love me with the lights on, if you could tell me when something's wrong, if you just tell me how to handle you, we wouldn't be here and I could do better, 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 better. If you had learned how to communicate instead of bottling up your self-hate, you wouldn't let me crawl up under your skin, and your whole life could have been better, better, better. I can do better, 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 better.
Well, hello, Soulman Black. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
So good, doing so much better now that we're finally talking. And I want you to first go into the impetus behind you creating the song and then the music video for Better Than You, the whole concept around it all.
Yeah, it's actually funny because that song is kind of like an outlier. So it's on my album. I have an album out, and it was one when I was making it. I don't even remember exactly what the situation or everything was, but obviously I was feeling kind of cocky or feeling kind of like over something, who knows who or what or why. But it was actually like my least favorite one for a long time because I did it in like 2 seconds. And I really just kind of was like, is this, and it's like a 2.5 minute, just like quick hit, like cocky, sorry, better than, or, lemonade moment. And I really didn't like it for a long time. Didn't like it, but it just was not one that I was like, oh, that's my like banger, that's my whatever. And so it took me a long time to get the actual album out and the whole thing. And everybody kept saying, that's my favorite, that's my favorite, that's my favorite. Or, that's like one of my favorites, whatever. And then like when I finally did the final vocals and we added background vocals, because it started just like very simple and like very whatever. And so then when I did the final vocals and I added some background, and then my producer, Will Brash, who rest in peace, actually, he just passed away. But he added some of the backgrounds and like the big ones. And then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, like the one. And so I started working with the guy here. I shot it in Spokane before I moved to New York. And we just came up with the concept of like, the X's and the whole thing. And we just kind of tried to get the vibe of the song and shot it at my friend's pool, and we did it in like 4 hours. It was like really like wham bam.
It seems like you were like in a flow. You just kind of like one and done it. And I love all the songs off of Free Soul. I really do. But,
Thank you.
One in particular, Freedom. Can you just talk a little bit about the impetus for that song for you and why you chose to put it as the first song within the landscape?
Well, it was the first song I wrote.
Oh, got it.
The first song I wrote a long time ago. Yeah. So the album took me probably, I'd say 3 or 4 years overall, because I wrote that right after I got out of high school. I'm 26 now, I think, but I put my album out at 24. It's been out for a couple of years, but that was the first one I wrote. And I wrote it when I still, before I even like started producing, like, and doing things digitally and like, producing those things. And it, like at the time, like the lyrics, they just summed up. I actually got Free Soul tattooed on my wrist when I was like 18, because I knew like from then that I wanted that to be the album and the whole thing, which was like very bold because there was so many there was absolutely no guarantee that it was going to happen, but I thought it was going to happen. And so the idea of the freedom, the whole thing, and I mean, it evolved a lot, but like that was what started. And so it's like kind of like the prologue of the whole thing, because it's like the last line is step in and enter my free soul kingdom. There you'll meet a man and his name is freedom. And so it just seemed like the best way to like introduce the whole thing, and then
like
it just kind of evolves from there.
It was like the North,
pretty much,
like it was the North Star, and then from there everything kind of flowed.
Exactly. And then it just goes like right into Bullets, which is like it's actually my live set was the order how I decided, because like I played live a lot before I actually put anything out, and it was just the way the songs flowed the best after trying a lot of different things. And so it goes straight from that, which is kind of like the dark kind of like, you know, rock, kind of has that like big guitar intro lead, and then it just goes right into Bullets, which is just like I got the freak, you know, and it just like goes from there, and then, you know, ebbs and flows. I wanted it to have like dynamics, and it just was there was no other place it fit like at all.
I love it. Mr. Black, I want to know, where were you born? And I want to just get a landscape of the musicality that was surrounding you growing up. Did you have favorite artists, groups, songs that you just naturally were, you know, you had an affinity for?
Yeah, so I'm from Spokane, Washington, which is Eastern Washington. Not a huge town, but not so small. I mean, compared to New York, everything's small, but you know, not quite Seattle, but you know, still a decent size. So there is a pretty like decent, well, I won't say mixed, but I will say there's a pretty decent scene at least, and vibe. But my dad's a musician, and so that's where I think a lot of it came from. He's a really he plays guitar in a couple of the songs. But he of course like influenced a lot of that along the way. He did like bluegrass and rock and like country rock, and but you know, could learn any song in 2 seconds. So he would do anything that I wanted to do too, or you know, all of my stuff he was totally into all the time too. So that was a lot of it. And as far as like specific artists, so I got a lot from him as far as like the Beatles, and like, you know, the Johnny Cash, like lots of that kind of more, you know, live stuff. But then, you know, I love all my pop divas and Beyonce, and you know, the whole thing, which is where like when I started doing the electronic stuff, like those kind of like that knowledge came in. But I always say it's like if Jim Morrison and David Bowie had a gay son. And so the Doors and like Bowie, as far as like the image and like androgyny and things, like that's probably where the biggest influences are.
Yeah.
And I feel like vocally, like Jim Morrison, like because he had such a like kind of a smooth voice, but then could just really like wail, you know, and like I feel like I kind of fit in that. So that's kind of my that's my tagline.
But I mean, I freaking love the tagline, but also like you as a brand. I mean, obviously you're someone as a human and as an artist that has done the work and continues to do the work. I feel like
Thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot to me.
I mean, I was a performer for 25 years before I became a director, but I was always naturally kind of at 30,000 feet, even when I was in the trenches. But I think that there's something about who I'm witnessing today, Mr. Black in 2021, soon to be 2022, that has done
soon to be my birthday too. 20 new year, new age too.
Oh my God! Well, happy almost birthday.
I wasn't fishing, but I just was like, it's always like the turning point is always like older and New Year.
You don't need to fish. It's called the truth of the matter. And speaking of truth, my friend, I wanted to just buoy all of this by saying, I love how unapologetic you are, because I know that there are a lot of young Mr. Blacks and young Wills out there who maybe wish they had people like you to look up to.
Oh,
is that something
nice.
that you think about?
It's something I've always been conscious
is it something
of.
that you've like gotten messages from? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I don't take it lightly, but it also was not intentional. I can't say exactly where that came from. And it took a long time. And the way I like found myself though was through performing, whether it was like the first time I ever wore makeup was for my first show that I did as Soul Man Black. And I'd played music and done things before that. But then, and so that was just for me. But then as I got comfortable and I got feedback there, then it could like be this thing where I like opened up to like a more thing. And it's not intentional, but I do really take it seriously when people do say that, and they have, and it really means the world to me, because it's just how I feel. But then when you can't actually do that, and it does connect to this deeper thing, and it means a lot to me. And that was just by me being how I always was. And I can't pinpoint exactly how I got there. You know, I mean, if I wanted to sit down in a therapist chair for maybe a couple hours, we could figure it out. But yes, I really appreciate it. And I protect it and try to continue to do that. And I also try to just be always honest about when I'm not doing well, or, you know, what it is, or, you know, I think that's the biggest thing. It's not necessarily being unapologetic. It's about just being honest about wherever you're at. And I think that is something that some people struggle with, but it's the only way that I get it out or feel better. So whether it's in a song or whether it's in a music video, like, you know, those exes, like, it's like that got that out. And so I think that it's like something that, yeah, just if you just have, it's leading by example, probably.
And I think it's like a show, don't tell. You're not telling people, you're not preaching, you're showing them. Dare I combine what we both are talking about now? I feel it's like an unapologetic authenticity and vulnerability that not only allows people to maybe lean in to the vulnerabilities of themselves, but also I think it's what makes you a relatable artist. Because I think what you're talking about are universal and transcendent emotions that run the gamut despite age, creed, language, where you live. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I'd say, yeah, I think so. I did, actually, it's interesting. And I reread this the other day because I was just updating some things on my website. And I did an interview with just a local paper here in Spokane, and a friend. And we talked about how like it evolved and how it, like, I think it's like, the title was like Soul Man Black builds a danceable but daring debut out of young adulthood life experiences or something. And I'd forgotten that I'd even talked about it then, because the music changes for me all the time, because I apply it to whatever's going on now. I forget even like I said, exactly what was going on, who that one was about, what
That's
it was.
right.
Then I just go, this is my jam now that's helping me get through whatever shit I'm dealing with at this moment.
That's right.
And but it's interesting that you also said that, because that I guess is what I did from the beginning. And in that, I guess that's what I said, is that it's just, yeah, it was just my growing pains and my things. And then I guess that's kind of the human experience, if, you know, it touches it. And I'm really happy it has, because it started not selfish, but started self, you know, work. And it was just me getting that out. And then I'm really happy that it then is able to do that.
Well,
and it means a lot to me that you see that in it. Well,
it's something that obviously not only continues to heal you and has healed you, but music's in your bone marrow, Mr. Black. And the fact that you, as a vessel, are living your life the way that you are, one day at a time, moving through it as we all are, with all the fears and vulnerabilities that some of us at times are afraid to release. That's the word I kept thinking about when researching you. That's
very nice. And that means so much to me as somebody that's not from my hometown, because since I just moved, and like, this is what I've been like finding in my travels, and, you know, obviously going to a much larger pond to see that, it means a lot to me that, because, you know, when I moved from here, I was doubting that a lot, and not conscious, because it ended up just being, you know, my friends and, you know, things that were like, you know, giving me that feedback. And so it really means a lot to me that somebody just like completely removed sees that, because, you know, you kind of question sometimes when it's, you know, the same people saying it. And
of course, right, they want to build you up, they're your friend. Look at the end of the day, I happen to be born and bred New Yorker. I say it like it is. I also happen to make a living now as a director. I see very few times people with the it factor, and you have it. I think it's a combination of your talent. It's a combination of you able and willing to do the work. And it's also you, I think, coming to an aha moment sometime. And again, we can go into this during therapy. We'll go together, Mr.
I know.
But I think it's an opportunity you had and took when you made the choice to look at the little you, the child within you, and said that you're enough.
Yeah, that's accurate. But if that's what you did, I'll let you do it. I can't tell you what I did. I want you to only have what you feel from it.
But isn't this such great art? It's like when we go to a museum, right? And we see a Picasso, we're each going to take something from it. Thank you for providing a safe space for little old Will to describe to you what I get from your artistry that I was able to see and listen to.
Well, that means so much to me, and I will try to protect that as I continue to do what I do, because I'm going to keep going.
Please do, my friend. Well, listen, Mr. Black, I want to just let our audience know for more on the incredible Mr. Black. You can read more about him right below this video. I'm so excited that you're joining this brand new app. I'm so grateful. I can't believe it. 9 months in, 900 artists I've interviewed all over the world, from Tony winners to Emmy winners to Grammy winners to Future Award winners. But Mr. Black, thank you for just freaking being you.
I'll take them.
You're effing amazing.
You are. Thank you. And thank you for wearing all black for me.
Oh, always. But you know what?
I know it was intentional, right?
But to bring it back when you were like, don't fish, happy birthday, Mr. Black, I wore this for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're like,
oh my gosh, you're amazing. Wow. You are great.
God bless you.
No, thank you so much.